Hopefully this is working. I never know. I never know. Welcome to Friday with Wendler. I don't know if anyone's actually watching, so we'll just wait a little bit as always. If you have a question, or how about this? When we start, let's go ahead and give a thumbs up, or if anyone's watching, let me know. I'm not going to, obviously can't answer questions until I get some questions. So, but if anyone's watching, please let me know. Until then, I will do my music stuff here. I'm going to introduce two albums that I think are awesome. And these are going to be wildly different albums here, guys. So, all right, here we go. The first one came out in, 1998. This is Soilent Green. The album is called Sewn Mouth Secrets. Sewn Mouth Secrets. It is a blur of speed and sludge. It's like grindcore death. And thank you, Joshua. It's a blur of grindcore, death metal, sludge. I'd even say hardcore. It's got a Ben Falgust, the singer for Goatwhore, sings on this. The guitarist Brian Patton from I Hate God plays guitar. It is an absolute amazing album. Ben has a variety of different vocal styles, death metal, almost like a black metal, a hardcore, whatever you want to say. It's just unbelievable. And if you can see here, it's going to be a little hard. But these are how long the lyrics are for these songs. A lot of stuff going on, incredibly busy. They start and stop on a dime. So highly recommended. I got to see Soilent Green live twice. I believe the first time was a 5-piece and then the second time was a 4-piece. And I didn't know how they're going to pull that stuff off live. It's incredibly complicated, at least from my point of view. And unbelievable. I should probably also mention Tommy Buckley is the drummer for Soilent Green, and he is currently the drummer for Crowbar. Very different bands, but both, I should say, Soilent Green. I'm having trouble talking today. From New Orleans, unbelievable album. The second album we're going to go over today is The Cult, Sonic Temple. Move my hand there. There you go. This came out in 1989. This is vastly different than, it's not metal. Definitely a rock album. Ian Astbury is the singer, but to me, The Cult is all about Billy Duffy. Billy Duffy's the guitarist. His guitar tone and just the way he plays the riffs, the melodies and stuff, instantly recognizable. I'm sure some of you have heard this band, maybe without knowing it, so highly recommended. Highly recommended. The Cult, Sonic Temple, and Sewn Mouth Secrets from Soilent Green. All right, so I will say that The Cult have another album called Love, which is highly regarded. Some of their stuff past Sonic Temple I don't think is good. I know I got Ceremony, which is the album I believe that was after Sonic Temple. It doesn't even come close. So Soilent Green, definitely their entire discography is unbelievable. And you're going to be, if you like death metal, hard, sludge, all that other stuff, they're going to be right up your alley. Right up your alley. So, all right. Let's see, anything else? Also, we have a new t-shirt going on pre-sale right now. There's 4 colors. I believe 2 of them we don't usually do those kind of colors, so it's on pre-sale. I believe it's $27. So if you'd like a awesome t-shirt with a brand new design, go ahead and check that out at jimwendler.com. Vincent DeCenzo says The Cult is my favorite band. That's awesome. Vincent, please tell me, whenever you hear a Cult song, whether or not, even if you don't know it's The Cult, instantly recognizable from the guitars. Instantly. Huge fan. And anyway, so he's going to go see them in October. Well, I saw a recent review, Vincent, of someone going to see The Cult, and they said they were hitting on all cylinders and did a tremendous job. So that's awesome. So you will be in store for an awesome concert there, as I say awesome. So a million times. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, guys, if you have a question, ask in the top chat on the side of your screen. We actually don't have a lot of questions so far. So this might be a pretty easy and short live stream today. So that's fine. All right, Joshua Hawks says Brent Hinds passed away. That's right. He passed away, I guess Wednesday night or something. For those that don't know, Brent Hinds played guitar in Mastodon. He recently left the band, but he's there for, I don't know how long. Mastodon's been around, 25 years or something like that. So it's unfortunate. I know he was on a motorcycle, and apparently some lady, I don't know, ran a red or something like that. I'm not clear on what happened, but he ended up passing away, and it's unfortunate. So he was an interesting man, I'd say, at the very least. Unbelievably talented guitarist, and a very unique singing voice. I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like his singing voice, but I think he was very unique. And each one of the guys, all three of the guys in Mastodon, had unique vocal styles. So, and I like all of them. So it's unfortunate. And Joshua Hawk says the London Red Raiders, are they ready for the season? When does it kick off? Our season kicks off tonight in New Albany, Ohio. It's the first time we played New Albany, or Albany, whatever. So it's going to be, we'll see how good we are this year. I think we look pretty good, but you never know. As my dad always says, there's a reason why you play the games, Jimmy. It's going to be an awesome season. Hopefully, again, we make the playoffs. That's kind of expected right now in London. We've had a tremendous offseason. We've had 2 in-season weeks so far, the way that, we had a scrimmage and all that stuff. So we've had 2 weeks of in-season training, and the kids have done an amazing job. Now, I know it's early, but we did some tremendous trap bar and bench work. I threw some curveballs at them. I let them make some decisions on some of the stuff, and I thought they did a wonderful job. So super pumped up. I'm also pumped up for the off season because I'm going to try some different things. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to structure it, right? Because it's a little different when I'm coaching with all the kids in there, and not everyone is fully invested like you'd like them to, and you have to keep everything moving. So, but at least in the beginning of the off season, I have some ideas of things I'm going to try differently so I can develop better football players, better dudes. So anyway, what is it? Kickoff's at 7 p.m. tonight. So I'm super excited. It's an away game, which stinks. That's the only thing that stinks, is that you got to drive, I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to be during kind of a crappy time through some serious traffic at that time. All right, Tim asks, good morning, Jim. Well, good morning, Tim. Doing the farmer's walk. Does it matter if I keep moving the dumbbell from my right hand to the left hand and back again? Or would you keep it in one hand? Hopefully I'm not overthinking. All right, so Tim, I'm guessing the farmer walk is generally done with a weight in each hand, right? So I think what you're describing is the suitcase carry. So when I do suitcase carries, what I do is I will switch my hand and I will count 50 steps or whatever steps. It doesn't matter, as long as it's even or generally even. So Tim, what I would do is I would start with your weakest hand, start with a goal, 35, 45, 55, whatever it is, steps. Once you get there, go ahead and switch and just keep on moving. So again, Tim, you're not actually doing what I would call a farmer's walk. Nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's still going to work the hell out of you. So, but just keep alternating. If you're going to do a longer distance, then just do it for X amount of steps per hand. You'll be good to go. All right. Vincent says absolutely about the cult and Billy Duffy. He still gets it done. He is an amazing. Whew. And Joey Waters, my good friend, look at this. It's just like a big dude reunion here. Wow, John Tempesta. I didn't know he was drumming for the cult. I assume he is. Here's a crazy story about John Tempesta. If I'm not mistaken, I think Joey may have told me this, is the final White Zombie album he played drums on, and I heard, or at least Joey heard, a rumor that he was able to get through all the songs without any punch-ins or punch-outs or whatever you want to say. So, not that that's the most technical album in the world, but still, that's an amazing job. So John Tempesta is, and I got to see John play live one time, at least I got to see White Zombie with John. I loved it, absolutely loved it. All right, Dan Cornell says, what is the best 531 program to do if overall goal is to lose body fat percentage and get stronger? So training for a half marathon, squats make my running difficult. Can I skip squats or replace? All right, so you got a lot of things going on here, Dan. You want to lose body fat, you want to get stronger, and you want to train for a half marathon, all right? So you're going to have to choose one of those things, I'll be completely honest, because you're trying to do three things, and it's very difficult. So I'm going to assume training for a half marathon is more important. Because training is just GPP for sports, right? Or for whatever activity. So if I were you, since you say squats are very difficult to do when you're running, what I would do is I would do the 3-day-a-week program. On Mondays, I would bench and do assistance. On Wednesdays, I would do the trap bar and assistance. And on Fridays, I would do the overhead press and the assistance. So again, it's going to be 2 upper body days, Monday and Friday, and 1 lower body day on Wednesday. We have done this during our preseason training at London. It is very reminiscent of the Joe DeFranco style of programming. It works incredibly well. The other thing you can do is, if you still want to squat, is I would do some kind of box squat that allows you to squat about 2 to 3 inches above parallel, somewhere in there. I would highly recommend it. I guess 1 to 3 inches above parallel. There's a reason why the old Culver City boys, right? Everyone knows that. The old Culver City West Side guys box squatted because they're very easy to recover from. They don't make you as sore. So that's something else you can consider, is doing some kind of above parallel box squat instead of the trap bar. So that's what I would recommend. And I'm going to tell you, the best program to do for body fat, to lose body fat percentage, is a diet. That's the number one thing. All right. Unless you are a very young, over testosterone dude, and that, it's still going to come down to diet, at least for 99% of us, if you need to lose some body fat. That doesn't mean you got to go fucking bonkers and, measure everything that you do, although you can if you want. It just means you're going to have to clean up your diet and just figure out where the weak spots are in your diet, so to speak. So as an example, let's pretend that you drink soda. Stop drinking soda. Or let's pretend that you like to have cookies after dinner or something. Just cut out the cookies. So a little bit of changes overall will make a big difference first. Joshua Hawks says, do you think month-long challenges like Squattober are beneficial every now and again? 1000%, Josh. I'm a huge fan of challenges, whether they last, a day, a week, or whatever. All right. So I don't know what the Squattober challenge is. I assume it's obviously squatting, but I don't know what the parameters are. So yes, I'm a huge fan of any kind of challenges, even if they're, I did a month-long challenge when I first started doing Walrus training. And I think it helps quite a bit, though. The thing that you have to understand, Josh, is when you're doing a longer challenge, things are going to go to crap on a lot of other stuff, and you have to be prepared for that. All right. So there's your bench is probably going to go down. Your knees might get sore. You're going to be physically tired and sore. If you expect that, and are okay with that, then I think it's awesome. 100%. When I did my month-long challenge, it was, I loved doing it. I got up every morning feeling great as far as wanting to do it, but my body did not feel good. So you have to be ready for that, for the physical and mental challenges. It's a challenge. Vincent says, I have added an odd lift or a strongman component to my Walrus when I'm up for it. Sled, drag, or push, suitcase carries, sandbag, fat rope, drag. I'm just whatever I feel. Yes, so that's totally awesome, Vincent. When I do the Walrus stuff, and when I kind of talked about that, you have to be able to do different stuff. You don't have to, but it's good for you to open it up a little bit. And for example, the sled drag or Prowler push, that replaces the lower body portion of the circuit. In fact, I'm doing the Prowler today. I'm just doing the Prowler by itself. The suitcase carry, same thing, sandbag, all that stuff for the everything you have listed there, Vincent, would be replace the lower body thing, lower body exercise. So you would do, for example, a farmer's walk, push-ups, and chin-ups, or you could do sled, the sandbag, lift, and carry. Boop, that would be your lower body thing, and then you do your dips and fat man rows or something like that. So huge fan of that, Vincent. Have fun, enjoy. First of all, it's beautiful weather out here the last couple days, so it's a perfect day for the Prowler. I'm super pumped that I actually landed on a good day to do the Prowler. I hate doing the Prowler. I hate doing the Prowler as it is, but when it's miserably hot out there, it really makes a difference. So I'm very thankful that the weather here is nice. It's actually a little, I don't know. It wasn't horribly hot this morning. It was really comfortable. It's probably in the 60s. So anyway. But anyway, guys, if you're doing Walrus stuff or if you're just training in general, don't be afraid to add some of that stuff in. All right. Gary House says, good morning, Jim. Trying an anchor cycle for an intensity. So I do 5s pro for the working sets and then 3 sets of jokers for singles. Should I push the reps on the jokers or stick with the singles for solid reps? You can do either, Gary. Doesn't matter. All right. If, for example, let's say you're benching and your old PR was, I don't know, 220 for 2, let's say, and then you do a 225 joker set on bench and you can get a couple more, do it. Set the record and let it go. Gary, the way that I train people personally, we auto-regulate everything, meaning that if the kids have a good day and everything is going awesome, we will push and we will do whatever we can to have, set a PR, whether it's a, heavier one or a lighter one or whatever you want to say, we will do that. So there's nothing wrong with saying, listen, Gary, the main reason why you lift weights is to get stronger. And if you can go set a PR, go ahead and do it. You don't have to follow the rules all the time. But I'm just saying that when you feel good, Gary, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, okay? So you can do multiple reps on the jokers or you can just do singles. Obviously, be smart about that, right? Not every day is going to be a good day. I always tell the kids, listen, if you're not feeling good, just back off and don't. I always tell the kids, I never want you to prove to yourself that you're weak today. All right, let's just find a way for you to have a good day and not fail. So be smart. All right, Osiris, I don't know, whatever. He says, good morning, boss. Thank you. I've been running boring but big for 9 months. If I don't hit 8+ reps on bench, I repeat the weight until I do. Then I move forward, basically stepping back so the 1+ week lines up. Is this the right approach? Yes. The other thing you might do is if you kind of need to jumpstart yourself, you can always back up a few more weeks or a few more. So if your training max is 200 pounds, man, don't be afraid to back it up to 185 because the training is not testing, guys. You have to use the correct, I should say, weights. And as long as you're able to do the weights correctly and you feel good, then that's awesome. So don't get caught up in the training max. Get caught up on doing great work from workout to workout. So yes, you are doing good, 100%. Orion, okay, here we go. He says, hey, Jim. Well, hello. Any upcoming albums you're waiting on? Chomping at the bit for Gore Guts next year. Have a good one. No, not really. I'll be honest. I don't really keep up with the metal scene too much anymore. I'll be completely honest. I have so many albums, and I love revisiting all the albums. And so there's still, I'm still in love with all the stuff I kind of grew up on in the last 50 years. So As far as anything upcoming, I always say it's going to be hard for any band to top, Rain in Blood or De Mysteriis Dop Satanas or Take As Needed for Pain or, any of the Iron Monkey albums. So doesn't mean that there's not great bands and all that other stuff, but I'm not linked in like I used to be. It's hard I don't want to sound jaded, but there's so much good stuff out there already. And I love rediscovering stuff that I've had and I forgot how awesome it was. So Matt Gomez says, hey, I finally caught a few minutes of this live. Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate the album recommendations. Keep them coming. I will. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. Would like to run Prilipin's 531 program as outlined in the Beyond book. As a leader, what should I pivot to as an anchor? Also, how do I know when to up the training max on Prilipin? Use bar speed. Thanks. Honestly, this is I don't know that the Prilipin chart, the Prilipin 531 really isn't outlined much in the Beyond book. I'll be honest. It doesn't mean you can't figure it out. So I would pivot as an anchor. I'd probably say 2 or 3 cycles maybe. It'll depend greatly on how beat up your body is. How I know when to up the training max on Prilipin. If you're going to use the Prilipin 531, you're probably not going to increase your training max, if at all. You'll just adjust the parameters on which you lift. If you're at that point where you're using Prilipin 531, the training max will probably be the same, at least especially through the leader phase. So yeah, but you can use bar speed. You can obviously use the training max test, stuff like that. But even then, you should have a good handle if you're going to use the Prilipin 531. That's like a little more advanced, guys, and you kind of have to have a handle on that because there's no real good, perfect way of figuring out when to increase your training max. All right. Kuhner says, could training 3 times a week, alternating RDLs and weighted dips, and front squat and weighted chin-ups, improve strength, all 5 sets of 5? I'm having a hard time balancing it with 3 times bouldering, recovery-wise. Thanks, Jim. Well, honestly, I wouldn't do 5 sets of 5 on RDLs and weighted dips and weighted chin-ups and front squats. I would use much different set and rep structures on that. So if you're having a hard time with your recovery for your bouldering, I assume that just means picking up rocks. I don't know. You're going to have to adjust your training because your bouldering is going to remain the same. And you're training 3 days a week. I'd probably try and train or lift twice a week with those exercises. I would probably push the reps on the RDL, the dip and the chin up a little higher. Your front squat can remain the same, but I would much rather see you put on some muscle, especially early on, and then go from there. So I would lift twice a week, increase the sets, or at least increase the reps on the dips, RDLs, and chin-ups. That's what I would do. And again, if you're having trouble recovering, something's going to have to give. That's just my personal opinion. So, whoops, I lost my place there. All right, here we go. Vincent says, hey, I created a Walrus a la carte menu for Jessica. That's his beautiful wife. That's exactly what I do. She likes the variety. I think it's helped make our bodies feel better by moving and strengthening, listen to this, guys, in different positions. Totally agree. You want to expose your body to a large amount of physical activities, and that's one of the best ways to do it is besides adjusting the sets and reps on a barbell, but doing different stuff, different exercises. Doesn't mean you can't have a core of base movements that you do, but I would highly recommend using, for example, your assistance work and some of your supplemental stuff to introduce new movements and give your body something different. All right, it's gonna keep your body and your mind from getting too stale. So, Huner says, hey, just to clarify my question, I meant to ask if such low volume could still be enough since more volume makes recovery difficult. I don't, listen, Huner, it's impossible for me to answer that because some people, maybe they'll be fine with that. I personally wouldn't. I would never train someone like that. So yes, I guess, yeah, you could get stronger. But again, I would cut down to twice a week. So essentially, you'll have 5 days that you're lifting. I think that's enough. That's me personally. So you can do what you want, but I think I'd rather see you do some higher reps. But again, I already discussed this, so you can do what you want. But again, twice a week, I would probably recommend for you. All right, here we go. Just found out I am teaching junior high PE this year. Though I lift, my physique makes Kevin James look like Dorian Yates, aside from a 75-pound cut over the weekend. What? Any advice on how to handle this? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. How to make your physique look better, I assume? Well, there's no tips or tricks really. I mean, there's tips and tricks, I guess, but there's no like easy road to this. Figure out some kind of diet that you can do that, you know, with your time and life and your tastes and stuff like that. Figure something out. Make it very simple that allows you to handle it. You don't have to go full bore right away, but something as simple as, you know, I'm going to eat these kind of carbs. I'm going to have this kind of protein. I'm going to try and get 3 or 4, whatever, 4 meals a day within these parameters. So that might be something you can do. I would probably, since you're teaching, I would probably make a non-negotiable lifting schedule that allows you to be, allows you to adjust based on how you feel and how you know, your life, so to speak. So maybe I would recommend training for busy and inconsistent men, the article and kind of the workout schedule, I guess. Just check it out. And don't try to, you know, cut 75 pounds like you say over the weekend. Do it gradually over a year. You'd be surprised at how long lasting and how good you're going to feel if you expand it over a longer period of time. So that's my advice to you. Again, you're not going to, you know, you can't make all the changes in one day. So imagine, like everyone says, imagine if you started 1 year ago today, how you'd feel. So just start today. Figure it out, man. And good luck. Woo! Junior high P, that's got to be a lot of fun. All right. Boop, boop, ba-da-da-da-doo. All right. Oh, man, I keep on losing my place here. Alan says, hey, good morning, Jim. You said that Beyond is for advanced trainees. No, the Prilipin is for advanced trainees. Much different. What numbers should I reach before trying some of Beyond's templates? You're fine using Beyond's templates. I meant the 531 Prilipin. You're good to go. Listen, I don't think anyone needs to hit X amount of numbers to be advanced or intermediate or something like that. Because, I mean, people are going to have natural ceilings that, you know, some guy might be able to easily bench 400 pounds. We've all seen guys like that. They're absolutely strong as shit, and they don't even really have to do much. There's guys that have trained their whole life, be incredibly consistent, great effort, and barely get to 275. So I'm not a big believer in the numbers. It's more about how long you've been training consistently with great effort and with some kind of intelligence. So I don't know what those numbers are, like X amount of years or anything like that. But Alan, anything and beyond, that's fine for you right now, guaranteed, as long as you have a basic grasp on training. So I just want to make sure I did not misspeak on that. Joshua says, my daughter plays high school volleyball and the season just started. She wants to continue strength training. How would you recommend structuring this? I would lift twice a week. One day would be the bench press and assistance work, usually upper body. The other day would be the trap bar with upper body assistance work. It shouldn't take you more than 30 to 35 minutes. And that's all. And when you do that, I don't think matters terribly. I'll be completely honest, because the lifting shouldn't be such that if you lifted on Tuesday and played on Wednesday, that you're going to be so smoked. All right. So twice a week, make sure you're super consistent. So it's twice a week, non-negotiable. Again, probably take 30 to 35 minutes at the most. I would keep the assistance upper body, pushing and pulling. I just used 2 exercises for our assistance, and then we're good to go. So again, the consistency and the effort is the most important thing. We don't load them terribly heavy on the trap bar. We will occasionally, but we don't do it normally. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So we just keep the lifts. We always want to get stronger, but we don't have to lift like an asshole to get stronger. Everyone knows that, right? That's why we use conservative training maxes and always just kind of pushing. We never want to push like off-season style, all right? Especially if you're playing a lot. Here we go. Vincent, Vincent does a 531 Prilipin. His advice is, with Prilipin, we decided that I can raise my lift if I'm able to hit 4 good reps on the 95% week, which is generally 1 to 2 reps per set, for a total of 4 to 10 total reps. So there you go. 4 to 5, 6 reps, somewhere in there at your 95% week. Just that's kind of how, and Vincent's super advanced. So just understand that his version of good reps is there's absolutely no slowdown or any kind of hesitation. So listen, I would probably say if you're going to use Prilipin, most people are going to be, their training maxes are probably going to be no higher than 85%. So it's a little difficult. Listen, if you're going to use Prilipin, you're just stacking really good bar speed days on really good bar speed days. And then if you want to do an anchor, guys, you can go ahead and do, work up, do some kind of jokers, or you can do something like that. But I don't think you should, there's no real rush to increase your training max on Prilipin. All right, just please understand that. Okay, so Kuhner, he's doing bouldering. It's rock climbing. Okay. I thought you were just picking up rocks or something, so I didn't know that. I apologize, Kuhner. I'm not hip to every sport in the world, so. The other thing, Kuhner, I'm going to tell you right now is, don't be afraid. If I was training you, I would expose you to, the word expose. It's like erecting a statue. Just a dirty word. I would personally keep your workouts. If you want to do two main lifts, that's fine. But I would probably introduce some different lifts just to do something different. So, for example, for a couple cycles, you could squat. A couple cycles, you could trap bar. We could do snatch, grip, deadlifts. You could overhead press, bench press, incline. Again, you're doing dip, stuff like that. So I'd just make sure to, personally, I would change it up if I were you. Expose your body to a bunch of different stuff. That seems to be the theme today. Here we go. All right, here we go. Osiris says, hey, I've been messing around with 531 for weighted pulls. I guess weighted pull-ups? I'm not sure. Can't even come close to using 80% training max, can barely use 70%. But it's been a good change. All right, there you go. I'm not exactly, I assume you mean chin-ups and pull-ups? I'm not quite sure. So, yeah, if I know people have tried doing that. I've tried doing variations with them there. Personally, I like to just treat it as assistance and bomb the shit out of it. But whatever. If you want to try it, man, more power to you. More power to you. All right, here we go. Jesse says, hey, I'm trying to dial in my 531. Last week, I did the OG 531, but added Spinal Tap and really enjoyed the added volume. 531 is like that toxic woman you just can't get away from. Well, I'm not sure I appreciate that, Jesse. I'm joking. Listen, I've said this before. There's a little secret. As long as your training max is good, you can do different things on different days. And so maybe on Monday you feel really good and you want to do a PR set and then do some Widowmakers or something, go ahead and do that. Maybe the next week you just want to do boring but big, that's fine. If your training max is solid, you can pretty much do whatever you want. The key is you're just always being consistent and kicking ass. That's pretty much all it comes down to, guys. So I don't want you to think it's toxic. Just have some fun, guys. Just enjoy. All right. Ryan says, hey, bring back the Run and Hide 531 football shirts, please. Maybe we will. I don't know. It's been such a pain in the ass ever since the corona getting anything done. And as I'm sure anyone who owns a business or does anything in the world, things have changed greatly, and I'm not sure that wasn't a mistake. So, all right, Craig O'Connell says, hey, Jim. Craig, good to hear from you, buddy. Still kicking ass. Questions for you about reverse hypers. What is your recommendation for programming them for powerlifting purposes? I assume you mean the reverse hyper machine. Honestly, Craig, when I did it, I have felt that I got the greatest out of it for super high reps and just pumping up the lower back and the glutes, and I guess the hamstrings to a lighter degree. So my general programming was kind of like how you would do tricep pushdowns, for example. I just, grab the band of the thing and I just get pumped up. That's what I personally think worked the best. And I let the good morning and the 45-degree back raise and stuff like that be more of the strengthening exercises. This was more the get that area just full of blood. So how you do that, 1 or 2 reps of 1,000,000 reps, or 5 sets of 20 or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it really matters that much. The problem that I think a lot of people had with the reverse hyper is you start to swing too much and you end up not doing much. But I think that's a little insincere, because if you're swinging quite a bit and you still did 50 reps, dude, your back is going to be pumped. Your glutes are going to be pumped. So, but again, Craig, it's not so much, I would say, technique. I think the most important thing is just getting a giant pump. And obviously do that after you do anything else, because your back's going to be smoked after that. Me personally, I think that's the best thing that I did with the reverse hyper. Rat says, what's the best way to find my correct training max? Do you recommend 85% or 90? The best way is to work up to something that you might be able to hit for, 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, somewhere in there. Do as many reps as you can. Plug it into the set rep formula that's in the book. This is, what do I recommend? The lower the training max, I would probably say 80 to 85%. That's what we generally use. For most of the people that I work with, somewhere probably in there. I'll be honest, we don't base anything on a percentage. We just base things on bar speed and what it should look like. But I'd say probably 80 to 85%. So, all right, so listen to this, guys. Vincent, again, speaking some truths here. He goes, I have finally changed my training max. After 80 weeks on the program, it's taken me that long to dial it in. My body has gotten better and the quality of my life has improved. I was not focused on the weight. He was focused on doing things correctly. And then, if maybe not in Vincent's case, but I think in majority of people's cases, they need to hit the assistance a little hard to give their body a break. There's a big difference, for example, of doing back raises and ab work and lunges and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to hit that for higher volume than it is doing a ton of squats and then having to pay the price for that. So that's essentially, guys, what Westside Barbell and Louis Simmons talked about, the using all the different assistants and special movements to build strength and not just using the main lifts. All right, here, El Jefe says, good morning from hot South Texas. Woo. What routine for time and reps on conditioning for weight loss? I'm not sure what that means. I have a sled, stones, kegs, and weights for farmers. Any suggestions on doing separate days? So my conditioning for weight loss would be, first, you got to fix your diet. That's 1,000%. Ask Vincent DeCenzo about that. All right. Listen, most of us, listen, if you're young, you can kind of out-train a bad diet. How do I know? I did it, and millions of kids do it around the globe. It's just the way it goes. No one wants to hear that shit, but it's the truth. I don't know what you mean by routine for time and reps for weight loss. I generally recommend something like the Walrus style training. And again, I don't know where you're at with there. So that's what I would probably recommend. But again, I don't know what your sets and reps would be. I don't know how strong you are and stuff like that, or what you have access to as far as or what you can do physically. But the most important thing for your weight loss is going to be your diet. That's 99% of it. The rest of it, you'll be fine. So I don't think that the training is going to be that big of a deal. Just make sure you're not training so hard that you're so hungry all the time. All right. So that's what a lot of people like to do when they want to lose fat, is they decrease their calories quite a bit and they do a million exercises and start doing everything, and your body starts feeling like crap. You start getting super hungry. All right. Listen, you can, generally speaking, you can just do a million exercises and, workouts and all that stuff and keep your calories the same, or you can lower the calories and bring down your physical activity. So just understand, especially you're in South Texas, is going to be miserable. So what I would recommend you do is get your diet in order. Try to do something physical every day. If you want to do like that Walrus style stuff, I would probably recommend that 3 days a week. And then the other days you would do kind of easier, lighter conditioning like walks, airdyne bike, stuff like that. That's what I would personally recommend. Make sure you're getting your sleep and all that other good stuff. Craig O'Connell, by the way, for those that don't know, Craig O'Connell, I have known Craig. I don't know if I've ever met Craig. I don't think I have. If I have, Craig, I apologize. But Craig is one of the hardest working dudes and one of the strongest dudes I've ever seen. And he has been incredibly consistent in being amazing. And he's always been a great supporter, always been super polite. And I'll give you not just to me, but polite to my wife. Many years ago, and I don't remember actually when this was, but we had someone had been massively criticized out in the internet world. Everyone hated this guy for what he did or what he said. I don't remember what it was. And we had I didn't know him personally, but we interacted with him because he made some orders and, the order was kind of screwed up or whatever. My wife handles all that stuff. He was nothing but an absolute gentleman and super nice to my wife. All right. Super nice. And I'm telling you, if you ever worked in customer service or anything like that, people are downright fucking nasty people. I cannot stand it. It drives me nuts. All right. This gentleman, who again, everyone thought was the worst person in the world, was a good human being to my wife. And to me, that's worth just about everything. All right. I'm not saying that, you could be a serial killer and still be polite. I get that. All right. But the way that he treated my wife, and again, he didn't know it was my wife. He just thought it was a customer service rep from our company. She handled all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, that's when I realized that everyone's full of shit. You have to base your, how you feel about someone when you interact with them and have a personal kind of, association with them. So just remember that. Anyway, Craig, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. And I'll be honest, Craig, listen, buddy, you know enough about training. You might do some high rep reverse hypers or whatever and be like, this is horse shit. So don't be afraid, Craig, honestly, to do what you feel is right. You got enough smarts and experience to figure that shit out. Okay. Just remember that. Jesse Driscoll says, "Hey Jim, when I say toxic, I mean go and try other programs and always run." Jesse, I was just busting your balls, buddy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I understand what you meant. So, I appreciate it, Jesse. Woo, Mr. Willego. Not just, Mr. Willego. He says, "Hey Jim, I'm lifting 2 days a week. Okay, while doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 4 times a week. Squat plus bench, deadlift plus press, and then chins and dips, rows for accessories in both sessions. Anything else?" No. Just be very smart, man. That's a 2 day. So what am I seeing here? Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, so you squat and bench, and then do chins, dips, and rows. You deadlift and press, do chins, dips, and rows. Okay. The only thing I would probably say is if you're not feeling great, I would probably back off on the assistance or something, or have like an out. The other thing, if I were you, this is what I would do. I would squat first and do dips, and then I would bench and do chin-ups. Yes, will your bench be compromised? Hell yes. But I think your training will be better overall. So again, you would squat and do dips, so you alternate, and then I would bench and do chin-ups or rows. You can do either one of those things. And then your bench will suffer that day. Your press will suffer that day. You make adjustments based on that. And I think you're going to be a stronger, better athlete if you do that. 100%, I believe that. So that's what I would do if I were you. And I know no one wants to do that. No one wants to lift less on the bench, but you're training it. You're not testing that day. You're going to get stronger and better if you do it like that. 100% guaranteed. 99%. And Mr. Valego, give it a shot, dude. Who gives a shit, right? Because remember, your training is for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It is not to bench 500 pounds, right? So I think that will make you a better overall athlete. I think it will raise your GPP. All right, Vincent says, I think many of your disciples, myself included, feel like we need to increase the weights each cycle to be successful. No matter how hard you preach otherwise, it's ego and it's hard to let go. 100%, 100%. That's why when I train the kids at London, we don't always increase the training max. The kids get a little frustrated. We keep on doing a lot of the same weights. We push the assistants, keep on doing the same weights. We just refine. And then when we work up one day, oh my God, they start hitting weights that they never thought they could, and it's amazing. So just trust in the process, guys. Here we go. Darren Kennedy. He's Irish, but we won't hold that against him. Hey-oh. God, I hate when people say stuff like that. I hate you. All right. Darren Kennedy says, happy Friday, Chief. Ooh, you hit me in the sweet spot. He says, I just joined the live stream. Unfortunately, don't get to many, but always watch them back. I'm heading to, oh my God. Awesome. He's going to the Iowa State, Kansas State in Dublin. Oh, it's awesome, man. I'm watching that game. It's week 0, right? I love Iowa State. I love Matt Campbell and what he's doing. I'm a huge fan of Kansas State football. In fact, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not going to remember this. Who is Kansas State's legendary coach? Bill. I can't remember his name. Anyway, the Kansas State for a long time was horrible. I mean, horrible. And God, what's his name? Bill Snyder. Is that his name? I think it's Bill Snyder. Took over Kansas State almost immediately, turned Kansas State into an absolute powerhouse. And I don't know if they still are. I haven't watched them in a while. But my God, were they always a tough physical team. Oh, especially when Colin Klein was there. They always have like a big dude quarterback who can run you over. This was back in the day. And they always had a little scat back. Like Darren Sproles, I think, went there. They had always got two of those guys all the time. So, all right. He says he will get some training in the morning. Hope all is well. Well, that's awesome, Darren. Enjoy the game, man. I love college football. I love high school football. To me, that's the epitome of football, those two. Don't really watch the NFL much. But anyway, enjoy, Darren. I hope you have a great time. I'm sure the crowd is going to be loving it. So you guys, I believe, last year was the Florida State Georgia Tech game, right? And that's an unbelievable game too. So, all right, here we go. Rat says, how did you train to reach a 1,000-pound squat? That took about 20 years. So a lot of squatting. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking about that, because there's a lot of work went into that. It wasn't just a couple workouts or a year or 2 years or anything like that. So yeah, just a lot of consistent squatting. And the other thing is I got my legs super strong through other means other than squatting. I think that makes a huge difference. I think jumping as a young athlete made a giant difference in sprints. Huge difference. Playing sports, being explosive in sports, I think made a giant difference. And finding other ways to make your legs, I mean, as big as strong as possible, other than squatting, I think helps quite a bit. And the other thing, I think getting your low back, hamstrings, glutes, getting that whole area strong with like good mornings and back raises, and getting your abs super strong makes a big difference too. So there's a lot of things that went into training a lot since I was 13 years old, or however I was, I don't even remember how old I was when I first started lifting weights. 13 maybe. A lot went into that, man. So yeah. Okay, Mr. Relego says, yes, thanks, Jim. I'm not as strong a rider as you. Thank you for the advice. All right, there you go. There you go. Cuner says, hey, Jim, are you familiar with K. Bogus on YouTube? Your Walrus training remind me of him. He trains full body daily and views it as physical hygiene, a daily non-negotiable, just like brushing teeth. No, that doesn't mean I haven't seen his videos. I'm not terribly familiar with that stuff. And that's, again, people don't take that shit personally. I just don't know. Most of the stuff I watch on YouTube, honestly, is like true crime stuff. I love that stuff. Absolutely love it. And then I watch like football. So, but yeah, I'll check it out. I'll write that down. Just bear with me here. There we go. There we go. K. Bogus. Who knows? I appreciate that, Cuner. I will check it out. Joshua Hawks says thank you. No problem, Josh. All right, Bill Snyder. Yep. All right, Bill Snyder was the great coach at Kansas State. Doesn't get nearly enough credit for. They stunk for decades. Oh, were they bad? There we go. All right, Bill Snyder. I was right. All right, here we go. We got any more questions? Because it's almost time to wrap this up. Again, I got the Prowler today. I got a half mile. It's going to be a lonely half mile. I don't have my boy Zach with me, or my boys Vincent or Rhodes. I mean, let's be honest. When Vincent and I and Rhodes push the Prowler, Vincent and I do most of the work. Oh, you know what Rhodes does? He holds the waters for us. That's important, man. That's important. Poor Rhodey. Vincent, I got Rhodes an awesome gift, by the way. So whatever you get him will pale in comparison to what I got him. So don't even try. Anyway. All right. Any other questions here? Why did you decide to retire from powerlifting? Well, two reasons. One, I didn't want to do it anymore. And number two is I squatted 1,000 pounds, and that's what I want to do. And like it or not, I always, when I have a goal and if I get it, then not very interested in going forward. So I think that's both good for me and bad for me. So I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I was ready to do something else. Just like, listen, the good way to kind of understand that is, look at Metallica, right? Their first, 4 albums were amazing. The Black Album, they're not the same people. And they just didn't want to, they didn't want to do Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning forever. So same kind of idea. I wanted to do something different. So Jess says Vincent is not up for the Prowler challenges yet. You know what you should do is you should push the Prowler, for let's say a half mile, Vincent. You do most of the pushing. She occasionally can push. So she's like the occasional fluffer. She's the Prowler fluffer, So, yeah. Listen, the first time I did a Prowler, the half mile Prowler challenge, I was terrified because I was like, I figured I'd be halfway done. I'm always on the other side of the neighborhood. I'm going to be puking my guts out. I'm going to look like an asshole. And it's always the reality is not as bad as you think it to be. So anyway, just, man, there's nothing better. Man, I've had some of the most memorable times in my life pushing that Prowler with Vincent, with Rhodes, with Mason, and with Zach. Some of the most funnest times I've had in my life. And I always like to tell the story. This summer, Zach and I did 2 different really hard Prowler challenges. And I had 2 separate neighbors come up to me, a couple of weeks later and said, "Hey, I saw you and a young kid. You guys were pushing the Prowler, or the sled." And I was like, yeah. And it's like, this, doesn't know me from Adam, said, "Yeah, it didn't look good." That's like, it was horrible. Zach's laying in the grass. I'm leaning against the Prowler. Bad times. Tyler Drake says, "How to get strong abs." Not housewife abs. You've been listening to Matt Rhodes, huh? You gotta load them. And that's weighted sit-ups. However you do that. Ab wheel, I think, are awesome. Leg raises, straight leg, bent knee, anything that you can do are awesome. Obviously, farmer's walk and side bends, I think, are good. So that's what I would recommend. It takes some time, guys. It took a couple years for me to get my abs strong enough to get even remotely close to the to feel like 800, 850 on my back felt good. So that's what I would recommend. And I did basically 2 days a week of really hard ab work, like weighted, and then I did 2 days a week of just higher rep volume stuff like that, more stability stuff. So I combined both of them. Ariel Maldonado. Fuck yeah. Rubio. There we go. Greetings from, Chile. That's awesome, man. I hope things are good down there, whatever you're doing. I don't know what time it is down there, but I hope you had a good training day. I hope your weekend's awesome. I don't know what you got going on. I assume in Chile, as they like to say, I assume soccer's massive there. What about rugby? My wife and I watched a special on, oh my God, it's in Florence, Italy. It's like the rugby / MMA thing. I can't remember what it's called. Starts with a C. It's 2 words. I don't know. Whatever. Look up Florence, Italy competition. It'll probably Calico, maybe Calico something. Whatever. Look it up. They're on this big field basically. It's dirt, sand, whatever. You got 2 teams, and it's like rugby, but MMA. So you get to fight anyone you want on the other team, and then you got to score goals. It's unbelievably crazy. And it's in Florence, Italy. There's 4 pockets of Florence, Italy, and each pocket has a different team, and they compete every year. There we go. Calcio Storico. There we go. Darren, see, there you go. He's out in Europe there. Of course he knows. He's on the Emerald Isle. Anyway, all right, anything else? I got the Prowler here. Again, guys, new t-shirts are up. They're on pre-sale. Really cool t-shirts. Remember the Cult, Sonic Temple, Soilent Green, Sewn Mouth Secrets. Highly recommended albums. Join the forum, guys. The forum is awesome. We always do kick-ass shit on there. A lot of smart guys on there. A lot of guys that have real-world experience. I also do all this stuff that I work with the football team. All our workouts are logged on there, so if you guys have any questions about that. As always, we'll go ahead and get going. As always, if you're doing something awesome this weekend, some kind of challenge, physical, anything like that, please enjoy it. Please learn to be miserable and have some fun. Embrace it. It is a privilege to be able to get sore and to train hard, guys. Understand that. Love you guys. I appreciate everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Later.